Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Imani and this is a corner of the internet where I do whatever the hell I feel like doing that particular week or day or whatever the hell it is. Whatever the heck it is, come on. Can't start cussing the first few minutes of the video, it's very vulgar. On the topic of vulgarity, that was the corniest transition ever. But on the tangent of vulgarity, if you have been on the internet for the past month of February, I'm sure you have encountered nothing but euphoria everywhere. Memes, compilations, videos, whatever it is euphoria related, it's there. And I feel like a lot of people don't even watch the show nowadays. They've just kept up with the conversation and discourse going on Twitter, and that's how people know what's going on this show. I want to do like the statistics and like do a survey of how many people actually watch Euphoria and how many people watch Euphoria by Twitter. I feel like the data will shock you. I want to talk about an aspect of Euphoria that I found particularly interesting, and I don't think this is exactly about the show or maybe partly to do with the show, but my feelings towards it as a viewer. I found myself after every I know it airs on Sunday. Euphoria Day is Sunday, but I'm in Kenya, so like time zone wise, if it airs in Sunday in the US, I watch it Monday. And some people who are particularly violent chose to watch it on Monday morning. Not how I choose to start my week though. I did that once and I had a horrible week, and I think I blame it on watching Euphoria on a Monday morning. And you know what? What's even worse? That was mid-semester's week, like the week for midterms. And I think it greatly affected me, like mentally and physically. Don't watch Euphoria in the morning on a Monday, it's not a good idea. I found myself after watching the Euphoria episode, which I would watch in the Monday evening because I want to use Twitter, and if I want to use Twitter, I'm going to be spoiled for Euphoria, so I have to watch it before I get on Twitter. That hell app, we have such a toxic relationship, I need to cut it off. I digress. Watching Euphoria, every single episode, I felt so emotionally exhausted and so drained. After every episode, I didn't even, like, I'd check the Twitter memes, but after, I'm just lying in my bed with all of these sort of feelings and anxiety and intenseness that I got from the episode, and I just didn't know what to do with it, and I always felt so emotionally drained and just tired after watching Euphoria. Is this just me? Is this something that other people feel too? How can a TV show of fictional teenagers have me feeling this intensely? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Why is Euphoria so emotionally exhausting? For me at least. I think the first step in trying to figure out why specifically Euphoria was so emotionally exhausting, I had to look at TV in general and why certain TV shows make you feel the way that they make you feel. And a big part of that is obviously who we be watching the shows for, which is the TV characters. I can't watch a TV show if I don't feel a strong emotion towards any of the characters. This emotion could be anything from admiration to, you know, and I could even hate the character's guts, but that will keep me coming and it will keep me hooked. If I feel something deeply about any of the characters on screen, I will be coming back for more. Whether those feelings are positive or negative, it don't matter. I'm still coming back. So TV characters are a big part of why we'll come back watching TV shows. I feel like as a viewer, something interesting happens in how we react to TV characters, especially when we do feel so strongly towards them one way or the other, whether it is positive or negative. How we as viewers interact with TV characters is very interesting. Our brain can't seem to distinguish the difference between the person behind the screen or like somebody in our real lives. I feel like because TV characters are so, or even fictional characters in general, because it's not only just for TV, but because fictional characters are so fully fledged and we are introduced to their lives and to their emotions and to their perspectives and their wants and their desires and all the things that make people people, because we see all of that through a screen and simply deeply get to know and identify with these characters, it makes them so authentically real for us that you couldn't tell me that there's the difference between, like, as insane as it sounds, you couldn't tell me there's a difference between how I feel about a TV character or how I'd feel about my real life friend. Sometimes the connections are even deeper because I'd say I know the TV character even more. Or I know the fictional character, I keep saying TV, but I know the fictional character so deeply that I don't even think I can relate to someone in my real life like that. Now I say it out loud, it sounds like a problem. If you've been on the commentary side of the internet, you know exactly where this is going. The parasocial relationship. Please edit a cool graphic here because when I'm doing it in person it feels weird. But yeah, the parasocial relationship. Nowadays it's more of a widely known thing. It is the one-sided relationship an audience member will have with the object of their perception, probably an influencer or an actor or anyone who is at a distance and you can't ever be able to physically connect, and they don't even know the aspects that you have of that relationship. It's just entirely you and how you feel towards that one person or thing. I think the formation of the parasocial relationship between us and fictional characters is what really cements how deeply we feel about them. Whether I said like it's positive or negative, that parasocial relationship forming and us deeply knowing or feeling like we deeply know these characters in this way is what really just locks it in. They're like, yup, you in this ride forever. You're going to be reading Tumblr fanfiction about this. Do people still read fanfiction on Tumblr? I don't know. What y'all kids do? TikTok imagines? Watch if that's true. I don't know what you guys do. But it'll have you scrolling on Twitter looking at tweets talking about these different characters and how they reacted and how they did this and that. It'll have you engaging with other people talking about these characters for a long time on the internet and like connecting with other people based on how you feel about this one object of your affection. It all comes back to the parasocial relationship. Is that just the buzzword of the century? The thing that just perfectly describes what the human condition is becoming and turning into? I don't know, but I'm not here to talk about the human condition. I'm here to talk about euphoria. Okay, from this point on in the video, I will be discussing the themes of euphoria, and those can be deeply disturbing for a lot of people. Yeah, this show is quite heavy. I don't think that's a secret to anyone. I will also be discussing spoilers of certain emotional parts of the season. I won't talk about everything. I'm not reviewing the season. I'm just talking about why I feel like I deeply connected with this show and this season. As we all know, Euphoria is a very heavy show and does tackle some very heavy topics. It is a show that depicts a dramatized version of the lives of some really messed up kids who find themselves in really messed up situations. And yes, I did say kids. As shocking as it may be, this show is about high schoolers, 17-year-olds, 17 and 15 and 16-year-olds. I think that's the range that they're supposed to be in. But yeah, that's the age range of most of the main characters on this show. This show will make you feel things, or will not, I don't know. This show definitely made me feel things. As we already talked about the formation of the parasocial relationship that does happen, imagine going into this season having already formed this parasocial relationship. You've been with these characters from the last season and you've gotten to know them, what makes them, their traumas, their past, their history, the things that they worry about, their insecurities, their anxieties, and just watching them continuously struggle over and over again. Some might even relate Euphoria to trauma porn. And I think that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I could see where you would get that idea, especially with the depiction of Rue's addiction. We just constantly see this poor girl struggle and implode and self-destruct and destroy the relationships in her life, and to just repeatedly hurt the people around her, whether she means to or not, and watch her constantly struggle and battle with the disease of addiction. I'm not really going to go too much into the whole of Rue's drug addiction, but I'm going to be focusing on specifically one episode, and I think this is episode 4, if I'm not wrong. And this is the episode where Rue relapses and her family has staged an intervention for her. And in this episode, it's the only episode, I think, that hasn't been narrated by Rue, because all the other episodes are. So in this episode, we simply just watching things without her narrative voice giving the story to you. In this episode, the whole episode is just putting you through it. So just watching Rue blow up everything and just completely self-destruct. So hard and frustrating to watch, but a bit that completely stood out to me in this whole season was towards the end of this episode, where Rue has found herself in a position where she's going through withdrawals and she's blown up every relationship in her life and has no one to turn to, and all she needs is another fix. And this leads her to going to Lori, a drug dealer, but also kind of human trafficker. Like, this is the plot of a high school show. That sentence is the plot of a high school show. Anyway, goes to Lori and she's desperate for another fix, and I think, and Lori does give her the drugs that she is looking for. And in that scene, Rue is in a bathtub just sobbing at rock bottom, and to just watch Rue in that bathtub sobbing as Lori is administering the drugs, something about that scene just is so visceral and elicits such a strong empathetic response that I didn't know I could have for somebody or something that is not quote unquote real. Because I don't know, I don't think that we should be able to say we shouldn't feel strong things for things that aren't real, because in our mind everything is real, you know? Like, everything I think or I perceive, it's real to me, so it's real. But watching Rue at that rock bottom, I feel like there's no human being that could have looked at another human being, even though it's through a screen, go through something so traumatic and not feel something for them. And I feel like Euphoria is so good at doing that, and that scene just showed me that, like, yeah, this is how they do it. This is how they just, it's able to look at the complete darkness and the bleakness of it all and show it to you and make you feel those emotions, in which other shows try and do. And the Euphoria is not the first show that has tried to tackle drug addiction or try to tackle all these heavy topics, but it has a way of showing you the character for everything that they are, and showing you where they are in life and making you feel what they are feeling and what they are going through, and just put you in that character's shoes completely. It's kind of like an empathy simulator. It's absolutely mad. But because the show does make you feel so intensely, you do wonder at some point if a lot of the trauma that is depicted on this show possibly lingers for too long. Just as I said, some people say that Euphoria feels like trauma porn, and I could deeply understand how you could see it from that perspective, because we do see these characters go through it, and a lot of the time there's no resolution. There's no happy, like, bow tie ending to everything, and there's always things still lingering. and you don't have anywhere to put all of these feelings because it hasn't been solved yet, but you felt all this deep emotion and you have to just sit with it and wait until the next episode, and in my case wait until the next season to see if you're ever going to have catharsis. Something interesting about depicting these traumas in the visceral way that they do try and depict these traumas, part of it makes me wonder if this in a way is giving viewers second-hand trauma, or possibly re-triggering people who have been through these traumatic experiences into reliving it again. This is kind of like such a well-built simulation or simulator of what it's like to go through these things, from the use of the camera angles and the lighting and all those other things. I feel like it perfectly captures the emotions that we go through and the emotions that are felt and what emotions kind of look like, even though it's not hyper realistic in a sense that it's such a realistic show. But sometimes the way the camera moves and lingers, it moves how we feel, if that makes any sense. I'm not a film person, I don't really know the technical terms, I'm just simply describing what it feels like to me. However, the intensity of it all does leave me wondering the possible responsibility that the showrunners do have in taking care of the audience and making sure that what they're going through is something that they can emotionally handle. Granted, I know there is trigger warnings in every episode of like when something triggering can happen, they do have trigger warnings, but I don't know. I don't know, sometimes I feel like you'd see a trigger warning and you'd be like, oh, okay, it's possibly not that bad, and then you watch it and you're like, oh wow, they meant it, like for real. But yeah, that's possibly why Euphoria leaves me so emotionally exhausted. It's so real. It feels so real, even though the show isn't realistic, even though the storylines just don't make sense for a high school situation. It feels really real. And this doesn't mean, even though I have these deep feelings towards the show, this doesn't mean the show is not without its criticism. This show is very hypersexual. There's a lot of sexual activity being depicted by characters that are supposed to be minors, like the characters who are engaging in these sexual activities are supposed to be minors, not that minors are doing you get what I mean. And the depiction of the use of drug abuse and just all those things, it can be, I wouldn't say glamorized, and I feel like the part that I was talking about, the show is able to visually express how things feel. That stylized version kind of does bite it in the ass, because it could be also seen as glamorizing certain things with having the purple lights or the flashing lights or certain angles and how the camera moves. It could be seen as glamorizing that, but I don't think it's glamorizing that. But it could be seen as that, so I do see that perspective. And also Sam Levinson, oh my god, that man is he is a menace. He is an absolute menace. He's a big problem. I know he's the reason why we have the show, and it's his creative vision. Not only his, because the director isn't the only person that matters in the process of filmmaking, but still, I know this is his creation. However, God, we need to like put that man on a leash or something. Like, please, tame him. The treatment of the female characters on the show is a bit off. I'm looking at you, Sam Levinson. How he has Cassie's character constantly exposed, like for a majority of this season, is greatly disturbing. I know the actress said that she didn't do any scenes that she didn't feel comfortable in, but still, the levels in which she was exposed felt a bit excessive. Like, it wasn't needed in the story. It wasn't needed to get a point across. And I feel like since the point of Euphoria is to just be an intense experience all through, it definitely does cross the line sometimes, and like you didn't need to do all that to get to the goal that we're trying to get to. That was completely unnecessary. You feel me? I still do deeply enjoy the show, even though Sam Levinson is a menace and needs to be checked out. Sam, when I catch you, after that finale, when I catch you, for legal reasons, that is not a threat, that's just a statement. With the good and the bad, I do still enjoy this show. It does feel me leaving emotionally exhausted and drained, and I've given you the reasons why. With that, we've reached the I look like I'm emotionally exhausted from filming this video. I'm not, it's just talking about Sam Levinson gets me somewhere. Oh, again, not a threat. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video. Comment down what you think below. I have talked about a lot of things, and I'd like to know if other people feel similarly. You feel the same way, or you feel something different. Let me know how this show makes you feel. Do you like the show? Do you not care about the show? Did you just come to see my face? I don't know. Let me know. Subscribe to do see my face whenever I am here. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh my goodness, every time I'm back I'm reintroducing myself. Oh my, look what I have here. I have a foil balloon that was supposed to be for my Valentine's Day themed video that I just never did. So, because I've been complaining that this background looks really empty, what I'm going to do, remember how this went last time? This went so horribly last time. Let's hope I can... That doesn't sound right. Here, the foil balloon will be such a flop. Okay, I think it's in. That's what she said. Do I ever stop making that joke? Some things just never die. I forgot how fucking hard this was. Do I have the world's weakest lungs? Honestly, probably. There we go. All nice and thick. Brilliant. Look at that. We can have that as a nice little set decoration because I just never have any. Right? No. Okay, let's try that again. No, you're getting a behind the scenes. Oh. I'm gonna leave it like that. That's what we're doing, even though you can probably only see the side. It's okay. That's what we're doing.
It's 5:50 something and I feel so empty inside. The sun is going down, the sky